Hello and welcome to Marineford TCG. Today we've got a real treat. This is the finals of the Japan Finals, grand final match of the grand final tournament. Final decision, who's going to Worlds, who's going home. And we have a bit of a spicy matchup today. We have EB02, first event, and two really cool decks. First up we've got is Red Green Smoker. So if you don't know what Red Green Smoker does, the card in English is on your screen now. You can give it a read. Gives your characters a lot of defense in your opponent's turn, and also gives you extra Don to work with, which is really cool to be able to extend your board and get more aggression into your opponent. And the Red Green Smoker player was the only Red Green Smoker player in this entire tournament. Out of all 63 players, he was the only one on Red Green, only believer, and here he is in the finals up against Green Purple Luffy. And this is another leader with a Don regeneration effect that's going to give you extra Don during your turn. So a bit of an interesting situation where both these leaders are going to have more Don than they start their turn with to use during their turn or during their opponent's turn. Both these decks are playing a fair amount of counter events, which is really cool. One of my favourite things about the One Piece card game is the counter events, the fact that you can do things in your opponent's turn, whether that's just countering with cards or countering with events. I think that's really cool. But the main story of this event has been Green Purple Luffy. Brand new out of EB02. Hit the ground running though. And 9 of the top 16 in this tournament were Green Purple Luffy. Of the 19 that entered the tournament, 9 of them made the top 16. And that's... I don't think we've seen anything like that before. Certainly not for the first tournament for a brand new leader. So that's pretty exciting. Will this guy turn out to be tier 0? Or have people just not adapted quickly enough? There are a lot of Doflamingo at this tournament, and from what I've seen, Green Purple has a very reasonable Doflamingo matchup. Clearly, he was able to take down a few to get here all the way to the finals, and we do finally see the players starting to set up. So the key cards that the Smoker player has to combat what Green Purple is going to do, one of them is the Gum Gum Mole Gun. If you have a 6,000 power unit, which Smoker is all around having 7,000 power unit even, it lets you effectively KO a 7k unit, 7k power. And why is that notable? Well, because Sanjian Pudding is an insane card. And there it is in the purple-green Luffy player's hand. We do see it already. And that's going to be one of the most impactful cards for the Smoker player to remove as quickly as possible. We do see a couple 2ks. Interestingly, the 6-cost Brook and a Searcher event. And in the Smoker player's hand, we've got a Virgo, which is a nice Searcher for Punk Hazard. We've got a Baccarat, which is a bit of a niche tech. Gives you a little bit more defense even. Sanji for some aggression. Monet for some power and manipulation. And Monet actually works really well with another card in his list, which is Ben Beckman. Reduces the power of that Sanjian Pudding down to 6. And then Ben Beckman can clear it very easily. Excuse me. Also, one copy of the Chopper in his hand. Chopper, an exceptional card in Smoker. Because during your opponent's turn, it's a 4/7 blocker. Of course, against those removal decks, they can remove it. But Green Purple Luffy, not typically playing very much removal. So I'm really excited to see how this game is going to turn out. I think, in theory, Green Purple Luffy is the much more hyped leader. However, I do know this Smoker has beaten a good amount of Green Purples to make it all the way to the finals. So clearly he's got a pretty interesting game plan. 8-cost Kid and 4-cost Mole Gun, probably both going to be instrumental. Let's hope for a really good game between these two players in the grand finals of the Japan Finals. And here we go. We're getting started. Who's going first? It's Green Purple Luffy, 1 Don, going to do that Searcher event. Top 3 for Straw, Heart, or Kid. Going to grab that Going Merry stage. The only other 2 cards there were a Thunder Bagua and an event. So that was the only legal target. That stage is going to be able to cycle itself out. Notably, the cost isn't going to be terribly impactful because most of Smoker's stuff is based on power. And the Virgo Searcher does find... What was that? I missed that. Does find a Smoker. Very nice. And he drew another 2k Chopper off the top, which is really good. That 5-cost Smoker, getting that down very quickly, very important. Lets you get 3 Don back immediately. If he drops that on 6, he could, in theory, use 4 for the Gum Gum Mole Gun as well, if he can find that. We do see the Going Merry stage come down, and then another Going Merry stage come down, and then a Nami come out. Gonna do a quick search for the green-purple Luffy player. This is all moving very fast. What's he got? He's got a couple Sanjis there. Got a Zoro Juro. Looks like he's opting for the Zoro Juro. Zoro Juro, very nice if you can get that on the extra Don after you play out your pudding. You can't quite do that on 5. If you're going second, you can drop that immediately, though, because you're going to have 4 more Don. Zoro Juro is definitely going to be coming in clutch. Might even choose to drop it next turn and forego the Sanji pudding for a turn. We'll have to see. 5 at lead. We're going to take. And looks like he got something we can't see. Chopper comes down. And like I said, that is a 4-7 blocker. So unless the green-purple Luffy wants to attack for 7 or more with his leader, that's going to be a free block. Which is really nice to alleviate some of that early aggression that Smoker might struggle with being a 4-life leader. We do see the Sanji pudding come down immediately. Unsurprising. Leader effect, going to ramp 1 back with the Sanji pudding. Restand 2 with the leader effect. Will he just swing in for 9? Let's find out. Leader, of course, at 6k, excuse me. Going to use the Going Merry effect to make the Sanji pudding 7 cost. We're going to make the Sanji pudding an 8k power unit. There must be some kind of trigger that I'm not aware of. That's interesting. And then 9 at lead, we're going to... Sorry, 7 at lead. We're going to see the block with the chopper and 1k with the Baccarat to get out of that. 1 more Don. So the Gum Gum Mole Gun's trigger is activate main. So that can kill a 7k power unit during your opponent's turn if you get that as a trigger. A really smart play from the green-purple Luffy player. Put that Don there. Similar to if you were a Doflamingo player trying to play around a Gum Gum Firefist Pistol Red Hawk. Really smart. And we just see the Nami come down, just grabbing another Usohachi 2k. He has also accumulated one of those 6-cost secret rare Luffys. I'm sure that will be impactful later for dealing with 8-cost Kid. If the Smoker player is able to find it, of course. Smoker player eyeing up his options. Gonna swing 6 into 6 on the leader, try and get a card out of Luffy. And then likely, I imagine we're going to see the 5-cost Smoker come down. Always nice to play that as soon as you can. Yep, and we do indeed see the 5-cost Smoker. We'll see 3 Don restood, just like green-purple Luffy did. Red Smoker's going to match him. And then what are we doing in these 3 Don? We're playing out Sanji for some aggression. So that Sanji, really nice. 6k in your opponent's turn. When your opponent takes it out, you get a card. So you don't lose any tempo by playing this. You just get even more aggression onto your opponent. And with a deck like green-purple Luffy, where the leader is always 6k, your Sanji being 6k himself is great to just guarantee a card for no investment. Green-purple Luffy, weighing up his options. Does he have another Sanji and Pudding? He has another Sanji and Pudding. This is an incredible turn. Be able to play that, draw a card, recycle, 4 Don. Nuts. But I don't think I've seen another one. We do have the option of the 6-cost Brook, of course. That could be pretty impactful. And we do also have the Zoro Juro. So we'll have to see what he goes for here. I'm sure he's got a plan for this matchup. Could also see the Secret Luffy come down, but we're just going to go with that Brook. That seems sensible. If the red-green Smoker player decides to attack with his green 5-cost Smoker, then the Brook is going to be able to reduce the power to make getting rid of that a little bit easier. We do see the leader effect going back to 5 Don, 3 uprights, and now the green-purple Luffy player needs to work out his swings. And again, the red-green Smoker player does have that chopper that is a 7k blocker. Such a crazy card in this deck with the leader effect, buffing it to 7 for just 4 Don, and it's a 2k. Crazy, crazy card. Looks like we're going to see 7 at lead with the Sanji and Pudding. And we'll see how the Smoker player responds to that. Looks like he's eyeing up the block. Looks like he's eyeing up the block. We do have another chopper in hand. No, we're just going to take. I think no mole gun trigger. But we do see the Kid. And the Kid is going to be tough for green-purple to deal with. Although he does have that Brook, which is going to make it a little bit easier. Really cool. Both these players got answers for each other. Kid and mole gun going to be able to deal with some of green-purple stuff and sort of put up a big wall at the end of the game. But that Brook, being able to deal with the Kid perhaps, or at least make it easier to do so, is going to be pretty crazy. We do see another 7 into leader. Will we see a block and a 1k? Or will we just take again? Looks like the Smoker player is going to going to fully lean into that Kid game plan of we're going to get to a point where Kid is the best move, and then we're going to bunker up and win the game from there. Luffy player notably keeping 2 up for perhaps for a Thunder Bagua to get 4k counter and ramp. We do see the hand. We do have the Ben Beckman. That's pretty cool. So we could go with the Monet. Reduce the... Yeah, we can go with the Monet, restand the Don, reduce the Sanji Pudding, and then remove it with the Ben Beckman. That could be pretty cool. Or we could remove the Brook. Removing the Brook might even be better if we're going for a Kid game plan. That could be pretty smart. The Monet into the... Yeah, the Monet into the Ben Beckman clearing the Brook is really cool, actually. I like that a lot. Doesn't look like looks like we're going to see the Kid come down immediately, though. Which is interesting, because that Brook is still on the board. But he must have a plan for it. Yep, we're going to restand 3 Don with our leader effect. Very nice. 3 Don with the leader effect and the Smoker effect, of course. You know what I mean. And looks like we're going to see 1 Don coming onto that Kid, making us effectively an 8k leader already. Crazy. This Kid coming out in OPO1. Been a green staple ever since. We're going to use the Kid effect to play out Monet. And then we're using Monet. Ooh, we're going to try and take out the Sanji Pudding. Looks like we are. Sanji Pudding goes down to 6k. 2 rested Don on the Sanji. 8 into 6. That's pretty tough. You've got to give 2 cards or use something like a Thunder Bagua or a Gum Gum Giant on that. But demanding 2 cards out of the green-purple Luffy player is exceptional. And if he can clear that Sanji Pudding, that's even better. We also have 2 more Don. We can potentially swing 6 and 8 again into the Sanji Pudding. So the green-purple Luffy player just going to opt to let it go. We do see 8k into leader, and this is a banish swing. So I think you need to give 2 cards here if you're the Luffy player. And looks like he is going to give 2 cards or use some kind of event. I can't quite see his hand. See exactly what he's got. He's got Thunder Bagua. This will be a perfect turn to use it. But I'm guessing he doesn't. With that banish on the 5-cost Smoker. Really good. This card is exceptional. Great stat line. 2 incredible effects. Combos brilliantly with the Smoker leader. Because during the opponent's turn, that Smoker is going to be an 8k power unit. Even after Brook's attack, it's going to be at 7. Sorry, at 6. Not that they can attack into it anyway because we have Kid in play. And we do see the banish hit go through and banish the Thunder Bagua. And then the 6k into leader is going to be countered with a simple 1k from Brook. Banishing that Thunder Bagua is so crazy. I'm slightly surprised the green-purple Luffy didn't choose to counter the 8 banish. But hey, maybe he just doesn't have the counter. I can only see the 2 Usahachis in his hand and the Secret Luffy. But losing that resource is crazy impactful. Already down to 1 life. Both players, in fact, down to 1. Sanji Pudding does come down, though. Draws a card because we do have equal or less Don than the Smoker player. And then we're going to use the leader effect, it looks like. We do, of course, have that Brook to reduce the power on the Kid. It's only 2 swings. So as long as the Smoker player can counter out of 1 and then block the other with the Chopper, we're in an excellent position. Having that 3-cost Sanji and the Smoker and the Monet as well, all protected behind Kid, is such a crazy board. If we were a removal deck, we could maybe deal with that. But green-purple Luffy, very fair, battle-based deck. Not got any crazy removal effects like a Lucci or anything like that. So it's going to be hard for him to deal with it. And we do see the Brook swing in after using the leader effect. Going to minus down the Chopper blocker and the Kid. Kid is at 6. This is 8 into 6. And we do see the counter of 3. Are we just going to see 10 into the Kid? And then we'll just see the block with the Chopper. Really tough spot for the green-purple Luffy. I can see sort of how this Smoker player was able to get to where he was. He's got such a good game plan against this Luffy deck. Putting up 1,000,000 men behind Kid is crazy good. Being able to remove that Pudding Sanji with things like the Monet, the Beckman, just battle, as we've found out. And also with the Gum Gum Mole Gun, seems crazy powerful to me. Don't believe this green-purple Luffy player is playing the Gamma Knife. That's a card that some people have started to include in their green-purple Luffy lists. We do see the when you're at sea, you fight against pirates come down. Unfortunately, the player did flip a card from the top of his deck. Hopefully, the judges can get that resolved quickly and it won't impact the game. Looks like we're just putting it back. It was a Zorojuro, nothing too crazy. What do we see off this when you're at sea? We see another Brook. I think it's too late for that. Sanji Pudding, maybe Chopper. Looks like he's opting for the Brook. I'm not sure the game's going on that long, to be honest. I don't see any Gum Gum Giants in his hand. But who am I to say? We do see 8 into Kids. That's going to be a nice simple block with the Chopper. Going Merry, buffing the Brook to 8 cost. I don't think that's going to matter. Unless the Smoker player is playing Carrot. That notably does bring the Brook outside the range of the 5 cost Carrot freeze. Which is pretty impactful. But that Brook just being still there, it's tough. That's tough. And with this current board state, Smoker's able to restand 3 Dom with his leader effect, the Smoker effect, and then give 2 rested with the Monet. Brutal. Looks like we're seeing 8 into leader to start with, which is already just such a lot of pressure. The Luffy player really incentivized to counter out of this, as it is banish. Can't really afford to lose another card from his life. He already lost one last turn. I'm seeing 3 Usohachis and 2 Brooks. I'm not seeing any Gum Gum Giants. Really relying on that last life being Gum Gum Giant. So if he lets this get banished, game's over. He has to counter this one. I think a simple 2-1 here with the Usohachi and maybe the Brook is the answer here. Can't see anything else in his hand. His shoulder's just in the way. Very frustrating. He takes and lets it get banished. Just a Going Merry, but even so, this game looks over. He's going to counter the 6 with 1. Attack for 6 with the leader. And then swing all in with the Kid. And there's nothing that the Smoker player, that the Luffy player can do about it. Going to go -1 on the Sanji Pudding. He's not even going for it. That's crazy. He's playing defensive. I love it. Minuses down the Sanji Pudding. Beckman to get rid of it. Restand all his Don. And he still gets to swing into life for 12. That's crazy, man. The amount of... That's crazy. I was able to play defensively, still swing 12, and that is going to be the game. Red-green Smoker winning. Who'd have thought? I don't think going into this competition that anyone would have said, yeah, red-green Smoker's going to win. Except this guy, of course. This absolute legend here. Brought my boy Smoker all the way to the finals. Was able to win against one of the most hyped decks we've had in a long time. The results this green-purple Luffy's been putting in are crazy. Hey, this is the one guy who found the way to adapt to this deck. And it's paid dividends for him. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out the original broadcast if you want to watch it with the Japanese commentary. That will be linked in the description, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.